Hey, what's happening, guys? Hope everybody's doing well and having a great day. About 3 weeks ago, back in February, I put up a video talking about all of these recent train derailments and warehouse fires, very large warehouse fires. And the train derailments, there were 2 in Detroit, 2 or 3 in Ohio, 1 down here in North Carolina, and 1 just north of Houston. Well, these incidents are continuing, and there's been multiple incidents that have occurred here in the last 72 hours involving train derailments and other things that I want to touch base on. We're going to go from Frederick, Maryland, down to West Virginia, over to Alabama, and then down here to Galveston, Texas, looking at some more major incidents that have occurred here. Like I said, in the last 3 or 4 days, Norfolk Southern train derails in Alabama hours before CEO testifies before Congress. 30 cars derailed Thursday. This would be yesterday around 6:45 in the morning in Calhoun County, Alabama. There were no reports of any hazardous leaks. And Calhoun County is right up here in the northeastern part of Alabama. And I'd like to thank Maria for sharing this article with me. Maria lives in Alabama, and she alerted me actually last night of this most recent train derailment. Yet another train by Norfolk Southern. They've had multiple train derailments here just in the last couple of months. This train was traveling from Atlanta to Meridian, Mississippi, as it was going through Alabama, when it derailed around 6:45 a.m. in the Quad Cities area of White Plains. There were no reports of injuries and no reports of hazardous leaks after approximately 30 cars derailed. And here's a picture of that derailment, and you can see some of the cars piled up here behind this gentleman, and there's more in the background that you cannot see, and it's out in the middle of a wooded area. And this is the incident that occurred in Alabama just yesterday. Now we're going to West Virginia. 3 injured in fiery train derailment caused by rock slide. Sandstone, West Virginia. An empty coal train hit a rock slide along tracks in West Virginia on Wednesday morning, causing a fiery derailment that injured 3 crew members. And this was by CSX, not the Norfolk Southern. 4 locomotives and 22 empty cars derailed in Summers County. Goes on to say the derailment occurred in a remote area just south of Sandstone, inside the New River National Park and Preserve, according to a statement from the West Virginia Emergency Management Division. Several state agencies are monitoring the situation and said public water systems downstream have been notified. No hazardous materials were being transported on the train, and there should be no issues regarding any types of leaks or anything like that. And going from West Virginia up here to Frederick, Maryland, and this incident that we're going to touch on next occurred right over here on Highway 15. See Highway 15 here that actually goes around Frederick. Frederick is right here. This incident occurred somewhere along this highway right here. And here's the incident we're talking about. Homes catch fire after tanker truck crashes in Maryland. Article dated March 9th of 2023, and there's an image of the incident. And the article goes on to say Maryland authorities have said that a tanker truck carrying a flammable liquid crashed on a Maryland highway over the weekend. So this was about 5 or 6 days ago, and caught fire. And the incident occurred right here on Highway 15, just west of Frederick. The article goes on to say during a news conference, Frederick Fire Chief Tom Coe said that after receiving several emergency calls, fire crews arrived within minutes and found the truck engulfed in flames along with 3 homes and automobiles. One of those homes was extensively damaged, displacing the residents. The other 2 sustained minor damage. The chain of events that led to the crash is under investigation. Officials are also trying to determine the substance the tanker was carrying. Coe said, adding that it was thought to be a commonly transported flammable liquid. But this occurred in Maryland. So we had an incident in Alabama, incident in West Virginia, incident in Maryland, and this next incident occurred down in Galveston, Texas. But this involves a large cruise ship that was simply docked here in Galveston. But this article from NDTV goes on to say over 300 people fall sick with mysterious illness on a U.S. cruise ship. Article is dated March 10th, but the incident occurred sometime around March the 5th. So within the last week, but over 300 people came down with a mysterious illness while on a cruise ship. from Texas down to Mexico and then back to Texas. The article does not say what the people came down with. They're calling it an unidentified illness. Goes on to say that over 300 passengers and crew members were ill with an unidentified illness on Princess Cruises' Ruby Princess ship. According to the Metro News, the outbreak happened on the ship during a voyage from Texas to Mexico and then back to Texas from February 26th to March the 5th. Elaborating on the details, the news outlet further reported that of the 2,881 passengers, 284 reported being ill, which is nearly 10% of the entire passengers that were on the ship, according to the investigators at the CDC. Among the 1,159 crew members, 34 came down with the illness, about 3%. And again, they don't know what the illness is. They all had similar symptoms. And again, this incident occurred around a week and a half ago, but the ship was out of Galveston, Texas. So once again, we're seeing yet another increase, a flurry of new train derailments. One in Alabama, one in West Virginia, just in the last 48 hours. And coming over here to the homepage of the website, today's feature photo was sent in by Chris out of Mount Mansfield, Vermont. Really cool looking clouds that were captivating enough to take photos of. Look like waves up in the sky above Vermont. Checking in on the Schumann resonance, I reactivated the link on the homepage of the website, and you can find it right over here on the right, the bright green banner that says Schumann resonance. And here's what it's looking like the last 48 hours. You can see a large spike on the 9th that lasted for several hours. Today it's a little quieter, not quite as active as it was yesterday, but very active on March 9th. Looking at the GOES X-ray flux, no major solar flares in the last 72 hours. Checking in on the water situation over at Lake Mead. Looks like it continues to go down, albeit small numbers, but it still affects the overall water content at Lake Mead. Checking in on Lake Powell. Lake Powell and Lake Mead both share the Colorado River that supplies water to the southwestern United States, and Lake Powell is at a historic low of 3520, and that's above sea level. It's not nearly that deep, but the changes there too are small because the outflow is just slightly greater than the inflow, but it's just enough to cause the overall water content to go down. As you can see the decline over here on the graph, and it looks the same way at Lake Mead. So both Lake Mead and Lake Powell continue to go down. Thanks for watching. Have a super day and be safe out there.